Hello, my name is Zachary Davey. I am the owner of Company Outfitters, a DBA of Say It With Stitches Incorporated. Today, I am going to be doing some screen printing with Versatrans, Plastisol screen printed transfers. The beauty of these that I like is that it adds the flexibility of quantities that are required. A lot of the silk screening contractors require a minimum of 24 items. These can give you the flexibility to do the jobs you need to do. The other thing I really like about these is when you're doing silk screening, you're pushing the paint through a porous screen, which leaves a porous effect on the shirt that you are screen printing, which really leads to the cracking that happens over a few washes. With these being backed up to a sheet of paper, it takes out that porous layer and is nice and flat. So I have found that the cracking takes longer to start showing with these transfers. I have used a few other vendors. Versatrans has always been the top quality solution for me. And that's at versatrans.com. They are not sponsoring this. This is purely just me doing what I do here in the shop with the vendors that I have deemed the best quality for what I do. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be printing on some Core Cotton Port & Company shirts. These are PC 54s, and then they have companion options with ladies V-necks, long sleeve options. I believe there is a tall option. You can check those all out at sanmar.com. I have gone ahead and sorted these by type and size because there is a few different types and sizes that we are working with. We've got the adult crew necks, and then we've got some long sleeve ladies, and then some V-neck short sleeve ladies. I tend to sort these by style, color, and size, pretty much in that order, in case there's any differences that we need to compensate for as we move along. The first ones I'm going to be doing are a size large adult. I tend to go for the more standard size and then work down, work through the different cuts as we go along. I've gone ahead and set up my heat press. This is a Stahl Hautronics 16x16 auto clam. I love this heat press. It's very simple to use and straightforward. Doesn't have all the crazy computers of some heat presses that are out there. I've had this thing for about 10 years and it has been a workhorse for me. I've gone ahead and set up for 350 degrees because we are doing on 100% cotton shirts with a, once we get to it, time of 4 seconds to pre-press and 6 seconds to post-press. The pre-press may be a couple seconds longer than is really necessary, but I just like to do it that way because it's what I found works for me. And then the pressure is going to be a medium pressure. Which we'll adjust here in a second. Versatrans does recommend that you do a pre-press of the platen without anything on it for 3 times at 15 seconds each. That heats up the platen and make sure that there's a nice even heat as you start your job. It also gives you the ability to check your pressure settings so you know that everything is set up appropriately. This is our third 15-second round. So I'll adjust the time settings now. And we're ready to go. Now I'm using my laser guide, also from Stalls. It's just a great tool to keep things consistent. I've already made sure that my lasers were all set up appropriately. You can use a template that Stalls provides you, which I have. I'm not the biggest fan of it because the coils that hold it together give some beveling to it and doesn't always give you consistent results. So I have made my own template from the back of a gridded Versatrans cover sheet that we lay on there and make sure that everything is lined up the way it needs to be lined up. Now with Versatrans, you get a 13 by 19 inch gang sheet that you can put whatever artwork you want to throw on there. And then I've gone ahead and already cut out the transfers that we will be using from that gang sheet. Do our first pre-press. I like to, when I put the shirt on, make sure everything's even from the seams. And another thing that'll help you is you can fold these transfers in half to help you find your midpoint. And then they are all a hot peel. Now what I love about the caddy that I've got here, or the stand that I've got here for my heat press, is that it allows me to just thread the shirt on, do front and back, take the shirt off and hang it, pull off. We have the two lasers. The top laser is for my fronts. The bottom laser is for my backs. Just want to find this midpoint. And really, once you find your midpoint the first time around, at least I can kind of see where I am going from there. I also like to pull out the sleeve just to see where it kind of lines up. The beauty with these Versatrans cover sheets, or not cover, well, they can be a cover sheet, but these Versatrans carrier sheets is that they're gridded, so that way you can line up your lasers to make sure you're applying everything straight. And I know I just did that without doing the pre-press, but as you can see, it still came out just fine. We'll move on to the next one. Now, as we're going through this, if you have any questions, comments, you can't hear me appropriately, please let me know so that way I can make the adjustments for the next videos that we do, or answer any questions that you have. And you'll see that when I'm putting the shirt on, I like to pull it all the way up. That way I can make sure that the neck hole is centered, and then pull it back off the platen. like I said, I like to run my hands around where the seams are and make sure everything's even on either side of the flatten. Save the stitches. Yes. Not my roof, so you're talking to the wrong person. For what? But it's not my roof, so why would I want you to stop by? All right, you too. Bye. I love these solicitation calls. I know we all get them. We're all sick of them, especially when these people don't listen to the information that you are providing them for the questions that they have. In that case, it was a guy calling around about roof inspections, and I'm renting this location, so it's not my roof. I have no say in what my landlord does with it. So I don't need an appointment for it to come by and take a look at my roof. Let's see, we can run through these fairly quickly. The other thing I love about this versus silk screening is that, you have all your layers of ink with silk screening. For the white, that would be one screen. For the black, that would be a second screen. So you have two presses of the silk screen. Plus, you're going to have to, do the even application. But then you also need to cure the shirts so that they dry appropriately through a conveyor heater. With this, you knock out all those steps with just one application. The two colors are already put on the transfer sheet, and then the heat press itself does the curing. It applies and cures at the same time. So all you have to do is put it to the side. Make sure I find my perfect center part here. What I'm doing is I'm looking through the carrier sheet to try and get a gauge for my center line, so that way I don't have to keep folding it from run to run. But I keep forgetting which point is the appropriate point between these shirts. But now I think I've got it. This is our last adult size large. The other thing about the pre-press is it takes out any wrinkles in the shirts before you throw your transfer on there. I forgot to pre-press again on that last run. It's not the worst thing in the world, but best practices are make sure you pre-press, so that way there's no issues, or you can avoid most issues on anything that happens. And really, there are very few issues that I've ever had this happen to. I have had issues with silk screening not being cured appropriately, and then my client goes to wash one shirt and everything just falls right off of it. We'll see. Run after run. It's very consistent. We're moving on to our extra larges. Now, anything really a small to a medium, I adjust a little closer and further up. Then I would do a larger and extra large, where I kind of put it more standard. And then anything double XL and up, I kind of adjust, we'll say 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch down and to the left to compensate for those sizes. Another thing that I have done just to kind of get a gauge of my position on certain sizes of shirt is used my Embroidery's Helper, which is a guide where you can mark the center starting point of your embroidery, and it helps you kind of get an idea of where logos should land for screen printing as well. Things weren't adding up as even as I like, so I start over. And it's all, you can always take a look at where it's lined up with the sleeve to give you an idea too. And again, if you have any questions or comments on anything you see, the volume's off, the lighting's not good, please add those comments so that way I can improve quality of this as we go along. If you want to like and subscribe, please do. If you want to share this, that would be awesome. All of it is very much appreciated as we try and help our community of custom apparel decorators. That is a passion I have, because when I was starting out 10 years ago, there was very little information out there. As the years have gone on, I've seen more and more misleading information. So I'm going to try and combat that by doing these live videos and putting out videos and business information to help those that are looking to get into this business and not go through the rabbit hole of misinformation and conflicting information that can be found out there. Now we've got some long sleeves here. The long sleeves are pretty much just like the short sleeve adults. The only difference with these specifically is they are a ladies cut. So to some degree, if you think of it as an adult size, but a little bit smaller, so you can compensate for the slight size adjustments. And this one's a medium. So like I said, I'll kind of adjust it accordingly. Way up there. Get the static build up over time too, which can be fun. Sometimes there'll be thread sitting in the trash can here. They'll start doing a dance on the static. We'll do these few long sleeves that we have. I'll do a few V-necks. Then we'll cut it off from there. This could get a little long. That. Double check the sizing on that, because that looks a little off to me. The little cheat I have is these female busts. Kind of give me a good look at where things are falling. That was what I was afraid of. It might be a little low. Apparently I didn't adjust it up high enough. We'll put that in my replacement pile, and I'll compensate for that later. It's looking a little low when I placed it. Should have checked it out a little bit better. But that's what I love about doing the live looks at these, is you can see some of the learning as we move through these things. Not everything's always perfect. Sometimes it's just trial and error. That looks a lot better there. Yep, much better. And now I have a true idea of where I need to put these logos on these larges. Again, these are ladies long sleeve larges. So the size from the unisex adult shirts is a little different. It needs to be adjusted accordingly. I never did the back of that one. So the other thing about these live videos is try and get in the flow, and I start forgetting where I am because I'm talking and printing at the same time. The little issues happen. I'm trying to correct for and forget where I'm at. Go back and do the back of this medium. Now, another tip is when you pick whether you're going to print the back or the front of a shirt first, try and stay consistent to doing the front side or the back side first, and then the back side or the front side second. So that way you're in that flow of where the shirt is going to be when you thread it on there. Because every now and then, if you change up how you're printing, you'll end up printing a left chest logo on the back of a shirt or the back of shirt logo. In this case, it's a full back on the front of a shirt. Also, when you're cutting the transfers, it helps to cut them evenly so you can have an even amount of space on either side of the transfer. It'll help you with your left to right placement. You also notice I'll keep my hand up so it doesn't just pop open. Sometimes that'll rock the heat press, shift things around. Over time, you'll start printing further up or down a shirt as you're going along without realizing it, until you're either folding the shirts or your client is saying, hey, all of these are in a different placement. Kind of like if I were to give them that first medium shirt that I did versus that second medium shirt that I did, there's about a 1 inch, 1.5 inch difference between where the logos were placed. The other thing is, I'm looking to see how close this is to the collar line. That helps me gauge my consistency as well. Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for some place that I can do some clothes for our club.
Okay.
I'm with Sarasota Sailing Squadron,
Okay.
and we had some stuff made, like hats and stuff like that. And I'm looking for some nice polo with a little logo. That it's not this logo, but something like that, or something with a little logo here, very classic, very stuff. And I wonder how much it will cost, and also if you have anything for like UV protection, long sleeves, and we can print, a logo, something fun, something great.
Yeah. What I can do is I can email you basically a link to some of those items.
All right.
And the pricing is all going to be based on how many items we're embroidering at once.
Yeah.
The really only upfront cost is getting the embroidery files created for the logo.
Yeah.
Which is $99 and includes the left chest and cap setups for the logo.
This is our logo pretty much.
Okay.
And I have this in different shapes and different stuff. But this is our little logo.
And if you want to send me every version that you've got, I can
I do have
filter through it and see what you've got.
All right. Do you have a card I can send you some stuff?
Yeah.
And
So if you want to give me your card, I can.
The funny thing is, I don't have my email here.
Oh.
It's crazy, but it's manager. Then I noticed, like, not very long ago, manager at SarasotaSailingSquadron.org, which is that page over there. .org. And if you see here, it's that manager at SarasotaSailingSquadron.
Gotcha.
And that's my phone and everything.
Yeah, I'll send you
Okay.
basically my preferred catalog of stuff. It's got some UPF options, and I'll highlight some of those for you too.
Yeah, what I'm looking is something like a nice polo that is maybe, quality, this kind of quality, good stuff, and then some UV proving 50 long sleeves that people can use in water, can use everywhere, you know, like dry fit kind of stuff. And then I can have some variation. I can ask somebody to draw something fun and great so we can produce and sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
The name is
Zach.
Zach, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's the other thing with these live videos is, you know, there's live interactions going on, just like that call I had earlier. Now we've got a client that's inquiring about some things that I'll email them all the information that they need to know. We got 2 more of these long sleeves, and then we get to the V-necks. Now with the V-necks, we tend to center the logo about an inch below the V. And since these 2 lasers are an inch apart, we have a little guide for that as well. Just once again, if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and add those down below. And if you would like to subscribe, share, it would be greatly appreciated. Help this get in the eyes of more people who need the information. And now we're on to our V's. Now, starting with mediums. What I like about V-necks is a little bit of a gag here, because the point of the V goes right down that center line. And I tend to line the top laser up with the top of the V. And then we'll find go ahead and fold this both ways so we can try and find our true center. And the reason why I say true center is because there's true center and there's visual center. When you're aligning things, true center may not always look visually center. And depending on what you are decorating, that makes all the difference in the world, because we are in a visual business. Everything makes more sense if you default to how things are going to look visually. Now with this, like I said, we're going to have that bottom line cross section as the center of our design. It's 1 inch below the V. I didn't pre-press it, but we'll just go ahead and do it. You can see where that lines up. So that way, when we put it on our bust, you'll see that it lines up nicely. And then the back of the shirt is pretty standard. Everything else that we've done before. And voila. Just one more time before, because I'm only going to do a few of these before we end this feed. If you have any comments or questions on anything you see here, or if you can't hear me, or if the lighting's too dark, please let me know in the comments, so that way I can go ahead and adjust as I need to for future videos. I do try and go back through and watch all the videos that I do, but sometimes the way it comes across on my computer may be different from the way it comes across your device. Also, I can't remember what that thought was. I've also started a community school called the Business of Embroidery. It is a community that I'm just trying to have a place to share solid information, a little bit of show and tell space for our industry, so that way we can come together, share best practices. It is currently free. If you are accepted to join, I am very diligent making sure that it is a community for people that are actually in the business and not just people that are looking to subscribe to as many communities as possible, because I have seen those. It's like people that pop up that have member requests, and then they have like 100 other school communities that they are affiliated with, none of which have anything related to embroidery as far as I can tell. The Business of Embroidery community is the first and only school community that deals with this business. Eventually, as I add more value, I may consider adding a subscription fee to cover the cost, because it is costing me $100 a month to put up right now. And again, no one is paying but me in that community. But I also don't have a whole lot of information or engagement on there yet. But all things in due time. I'll go ahead and print one more after this and then cut it off, because time is coming for me to run out of here and go pick up my girls from school. And then we'll come back and do it again tomorrow. I would also like to go ahead and encourage you to check out my podcast, Between the Seams. There are about 10 older episodes from a few years ago. And then I am resurrecting / recreating the podcast as Between the Seams with Zachary Davey for some more updated information. But that one goes a little bit beyond just the business of custom apparel decorating, and speaks about things like being a father, a husband, some mindset talk, and random ramblings that I may have. I've also started a blog at zacharydavy.com. That's ZACHARY, as in dog, AVY, V as in Victor, Y.com. Again, that's ZACHARYDAVY.com. There you can kind of check out my weekly / bi-weekly at this point random thoughts and what I am up to. And with this last press, like, subscribe, share. It's greatly appreciated. And my overall goal is to help those in and interested in custom apparel decorating, whether it is embroidery, screen printing, or heat printing, to collaborate, become better, have the information that will help them be successful and profitable. I have been in this business for 10 years. Actually, January 1st, 2025 marks the actual 10-year mark, so I'm about 6 months away from that. And I have been learning, growing, and profitable over those last 10 years. I've had my ups and downs with employees, the general dynamic of the world. It has kept me going through a pandemic. I have not had any debt throughout my 10 years, other than when I was paying off the business. Technically, those years were years of debt, but I paid for it out of the profits of my business. And here we are, still going and growing. So again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, quips, queries, anything at all, just want to say hi, please put that down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you again next time.